Hey friends, Sleepy here, and welcome to a brand new episode of my weekly gaming playlist series. We've made it to Friday, so it's time to do an overview of the games I played this week with you guys, give you my thoughts, opinions on them, and whether I think you guys should play them or not. Of course, I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts as well, so if you played any of the games I share with you today, let me know how you guys enjoyed them. Maybe there was something you didn't enjoy about them. I'd love to hear about the games you guys are playing, as that gives me ideas and new games to play and experience. And I am looking for recommendations of games to play, especially Xbox 360 games that are backwards compatible on the Series X, because I've been playing a lot of those kind of games. I've been just on an absolute 360 kick the past month, and I do plan to continue that trend for a while, as there's a lot of great 360 games out there that I have missed playing. Now, first one I'm going to share with you guys is one I'm continuing from last week, and it was a recommendation from one of you guys a couple weeks ago, and it's one I'm really glad that I finally gave a chance to and actually played it, and that is Binary Domain, and it is a Sega title, and this is an awesome third-person shooter. It's kind of like Gears of War mixed with Terminator, which is really awesome. Been having a lot of fun with this game. I've gotten really far into it as well. Read you guys from the back. So it says, "Where does machine end and humanity begin? The year is 2080 AD, Tokyo, Japan. The Amador Corporation breaks Geneva Code Clause 21 by creating humanoid robots that believe themselves to be human." So they're kind of like how the Terminators in the Terminator franchise that had the human tissue over their skeleton. So it's similar to that, which is really cool. These so-called hollow children have infiltrated the human population, blurring the lines between man and machine. Dan Marshall, that's who you play as the main character, and the Rust crew are tasked to find Amada at all costs. Will the team's human bond be their greatest strength, or will they fall to the machines? So it's a really interesting game, because you play as Dan, but then you also have a team with you, the Rust crew, and you start out with just one person, and as you play through the game, you start earning more and more squad members, and I've actually earned a few more since I started playing the game, which is really awesome. So there's a variety of team members. They have their own skill sets and their own personalities, and they also have a meter of how they like you and their trust meter, and depending on your actions actually will affect that trust meter. If you accidentally shoot them, it's going to go down. If they ask you to do something and you disagree with them, that might make them not trust you anymore. But if they ask you to do something and you say, yeah, that's a good idea, you'll actually boost up their trust meter with you. And there's a meter on the side of them. There's also all kinds of RPG elements to the game, because you can upgrade your different crewmates and yourself, and weapons. And there's a shop where you can buy stuff in. Just a really fantastic game. Great music, great voice acting, and a really wonderful story. So let's check out Binary Domain.
Sega.
Hey friends, we're continuing our journey with Binary Domain. Now this is a really sweet third-person shooter released by Sega. It's basically like Gears of War meets Terminator, and it's just a really amazing game. It has a campaign, which is what I'm playing it for. It does have a multiplayer mode, which doesn't really interest me at all. I don't even know if people even play it anymore, but there is a multiplayer mode if you want to play that. Have your basic control options here. Now what's unique about this game too is it does have voice recognition, where you can actually use a headset and you can actually issue commands to your in-game crew, which I found not to be very useful. I tried it for like an hour. It was a nice novelty, but it just didn't respond well for me. So I turned that off, and I just use buttons to issue the commands, which I find is a lot more enjoyable, but it is there if that's something you'd like to check out. So let's get into it.
Back in my school days, I used to sit out on cafe terraces like this with a good book and read all day. How about you, Dan? You like to read?
So here's where I can issue a command. I can either say no or sure.
Say if I had to shoot a man in the eye from 100 paces, everything useful I ever learnt came from a book. First item on the agenda once this mission's over, get back to my studies.
So you actually can interact with your crew that's with you, and the way you respond to him, like I did there, he actually liked that, and so my influence with him went up. So you play as Dan, but you also have 4 members of this rest crew which are with you, which are they're like basically like a special forces team of people with different abilities. Some from America, from China, and Britain. They're all allied together as one, and you can see the little meters for them here in this little dossier area, which tells me, you know, how much they approve of me. That blue bar, the higher up it goes, the more they like me. And if I do stuff, like if I accidentally shoot them, because you can accidentally shoot your teammates, it's going to lower. If you do something they don't agree with, it'll also lower their trust meter with you. So the higher that is, the better it is for you. There's all kinds of data files for you to collect, which will give you basically a little backstory of what's going on in the world, because this game takes place in Japan in the year 2080. Now, global warming has happened, so the ice caps has melted, and a lot of cities and countries have flooded. A lot of people died, and so the world had to build on top of the old one and live above the water. And they created robots in this world, and there's 2 different fighting corporations. There's the one we are with is the Bergen Corporation, which has 95% of the global robotics market, but there's this Amada, which is a Japanese one. Well, supposedly they have created forbidden robots, which are these hollow children, which are basically, it's like a Terminator, because these are robots which have living tissue over top of them. However, this world, these hollow children don't even know that they are robots, and they won't even believe you that they are robots, and they were sent out into the world to cause chaos and stuff. And so that's why we're here to fight this evil corporation from Japan, and they have all kinds of different robots and stuff that they're going to send out to us. So like I said, that's why it's Gears of War meets Terminator, because you have these really interesting hollow children. You can keep track of all the different weapons. There's a huge variety of weapons in this game, which is great. Assault rifles, you've got machine guns, submachine guns, you've got rocket launchers, and anything that says no data is stuff I haven't unlocked. So there's 30 different weapons to use in the game, which is cool. You also can keep track of the enemies you encounter, so it's all different robots you fight, like these little standard assault troopers, some flying guys. There's giant bosses like this Grand Lancer that I fought, little bugs, some stronger ones. So it's really cool, the different enemies you will encounter in the world here. And you can see there's 32 different enemies, and I've only encountered 16 of them so far. You can load different checkpoints. There's also broke up into chapters, so kind of like Gears of War, you have a different like acts. Well, similar to that, this has 6 acts, and I'm about to beat the first 2, and I'm just starting Act 3 right now. And you also can keep track of your time, like how long it took you to beat a certain mission, and you can reload old checkpoints if you'd like to. And there's also little collection stuff, things for you to collect, the secure comm stuff, which you can go back and reload an old save file if you missed it. And at the end, after you beat the game, you can go back and load and pick up anything you missed for the collectibles. But I like to get them right away because I've been using a collectible guide. Got good voice acting as well. And the game just controls really well. And I really wish I would have played this back in the day when it was first released, because it is awesome. So I'm going to pause it, guys, and I'm going to get into some combat so you guys can show you what the game is really about. Real quick, I did want to show you guys this store feature, because there are these random stores placed throughout the levels, and this is where you can use credits, because you actually earn credits every time you kill enemies, and if you kill them a certain way, you can actually get more. So you can buy upgrades for your weapons for the different team members you have, which is cool. There's all kinds of different stuff, increase your firepower, range, all that stuff, so you can level your characters up, which is cool, so there are RPG elements. But in the shop, you can actually buy other upgrades like these nano machines, which you definitely want to buy. In each chapter, this is the only way to get some of these upgrades for your characters, which you can then apply to them. So you have all these different skills. They'll boost your vitals, they'll give you more health, they'll give you more ammo. And so you have to put them over there, and you can only use certain combinations because of the different slots it takes up. So you only have 6 slots for the upgrades, and all your different teammates, you can find stuff for them and upgrade them, which is definitely key for this game. So I just wanted to share that part with you guys real quick. Now you guys can see some of the combat. I love when games have these driving segments.
Fasten your seatbelt, s'il vous plaît.
It's got great voice acting and music too. It's so cool. Typical Sega game.
Hey, monsieur.
Ice front! Ice front!
You can look now. We made it.
Chance of collision was only 62%.
Only.
I should have walked. They're surrounding us. What will we do?
Hold on, monsieur.
Whoa! Hang on tight, people! Don't stop, yo! Keep roaring it! What now?
Our best option would be to break through it.
Get to me. 9 lives ain't enough to survive this.
Damn, so tough. You're driving.
I think we've lost them for now.
No, they're not the kind to give up that easy. See what I mean?
Just wanted to give you guys a little taste of the combat and how the game is. It's really awesome. So if you guys like third-person shooters, I definitely highly recommend Binary Domain because this game is amazing. Alright, so that was a look at Binary Domain. Such a wonderful third-person shooter. Having a lot of fun with this one. I really wanted to get this one beat this week, but I've just been really busy with work and other obligations, so I have not had as much time to game as I normally do. But I am planning to hopefully have this beat here by this next Friday. Really a wonderful game. I also do plan to beat this game at least 1 or 2 more times because I've enjoyed the story so much. It reminds me a lot like Gears of War, but mixed with that whole Terminator and futuristic thing. It's just really great. I love the voice actors in it, the humor in the game. Just a really well-made game. I really wish I would have played this one back in the day. Like, I truly missed out on a gem. But definitely one that I will beat multiple times like I did the Gears of War games. Highly recommend you guys play it, especially if you love third-person shooters. think you will love this game. Now, this next one here is a title I actually just picked up this week. It's been one that's on my radar for quite a while. I've just been looking to find a copy locally, which is a really uncommon game to find here. Finally found a store that had one. Glad I picked it up. And that was Alice Madness Returns. But I have not been playing this actual game, the sequel. I've been playing the prequel to it that you got access to on this. And that was American McGee's Alice. Now, originally, when you bought this game, you had to use this one-time code that EA had for their online passes to get the game. Otherwise, you had to have to pay $10 to get it. However, years ago, EA eventually got rid of that pass system, and they just made all of those for free. And so now you can download the prequel to this game for free, and that's what I downloaded and started playing, because I had not played that game in years. Used to play it on the computer back in the day. It was a really awesome game. It was really fun going back and playing it, and it's one that I've been enjoying playing. So let's check out American McGee's Alice. Alright friends, today we're taking a look at American McGee's Alice. Now this is actually a digital-only title that was released for the Xbox 360 when its sequel, Alice Madness Returns, was released. But this was originally released in 2000 for PCs and Macs. And they eventually ported it to consoles with the collection for the sequel. They had planned a PS2 version of the game, but it never made it out of the idea box and just kind of got stuck in limbo. But what's really cool is you can play this on the Series X because the Alice Madness Returns game is backwards compatible. And so I've wanted to play this one before I played its sequel that was released for the 360, so that I would better understand the story. So it's really interesting to be able to play an old computer game here on the Series X 24 years later, because this game is 24 years old. It's a nightmarish version of Alice in Wonderland. The basic story is that right before this game starts, Alice's mother and father are killed in a horrible fire, her house burns up, and she ends up being traumatized, has a mental break, and gets put into a psychiatric place, and she lives there for years, and eventually she just has a psychotic break, and she retreats into the fantasy world, you know, into Wonderland. But because her psyche is so messed up, it has distorted and messed up the world of Wonderland now, and that's where you now take place in the game. So let's load us up here, which really cool is you can save in multiple save slots. And then there's also an auto save slot, which is cool, so you can save your progress at any time you want in the game, which I love when games do that. So I'm going to load an older one just to show you guys some combat. And it loads really quickly for an old PC game. I just gotta adjust the setting real quick. So you can invert the look, which I always do for my games. You can adjust the audio and stuff. So just real basic controls. You can adjust the brightness and stuff a little bit if you want to. Control here, you can get on here and tell you how it controls and everything, which they updated it for controller support, because obviously back in the PC days you would use like mouse and keyboard or a controller from PC days. What's really cool though is it's a really violent and dark game. You have a variety of weapons, like right now I have a knife, but I also have this dice weapon. I also have this croquet mallet, which I can use to bash guys in the head. And they also have a deck of cards which I can use as projectiles. And so I have a sanity meter on the left which represents your health. If I take that to completely 0, I will die and have to reload one of my saves. On the right is your willpower, which is like your mana, which uses, like these projectile weapons use that willpower to use them. So I have to refill them as you play the game. You'll find health pickups around the game, you'll find the willpower pickups, but also when you kill enemies, they will drop them as well. You can also throw the knife too, which is definitely needed for this game, because this game is not easy. There's 4 difficulties: an easy, normal, hard, and nightmare. And I've been playing just on normal, and it was a challenge for me for a while until I learned how to play the game. You know, it just takes a little bit of time to get used to the game's mechanics and its difficulty. And there's a variety of enemies, like here's the different card enemies. But a trick I found against them is to throw the knives at them. What's really cool is this game is really violent and bloody, and you'll see me decapitate dudes, and sometimes they'll burst into little blood puddles. See, like his whole top half burned off, ripped off. It's awesome. Ah, you little bitch. I'll show you guys another weapon, like the croquet mallet. And you can see, you want to make sure you kill as many enemies as you can, because they will drop health pickups. They'll also refill your mana. And if you don't get it right away, they'll turn to a little crystal like this, which you can then pick up, and you'll see your health will go up. And the world is really twisted and messed up, which is really cool, because definitely since her psyche is screwed up, the world is definitely fucked up as well. And there's all kinds of puzzles for you to solve, and bosses to encounter and fight, and just all kinds of different stuff you have, and you have to figure it out. Now, there is a guide you can get online. I'm not sure if this game ever had a strategy guide or not, but I find it more satisfying to try to figure out and solve the puzzles on my own without consulting a guide. Because the game definitely does not hold your hand. These old computer games from 24 years ago did not hold your hand at all. You know, you had to kind of figure stuff out on your own. It's really, I kind of like that old challenge, because it's been a long time since, you know, I've played a game where you really got to think to solve puzzles. Now, obviously, since I played it, I know what to do now, but it took me a little bit of time walking around trying to figure out, well, what am I supposed to do in this part. And it does control really well.
The gymnasium should be safe. Guards never exercise, can't afford to lose the weight.
I never cared for sports at school. I don't have to put on a pinny, do I?
No, it wouldn't suit you. I've recalled one of the potion's ingredients. Mushrooms, lovely texture. What's that?
Oh, I hate these flying enemies. They use their voice to attack you. And the best thing against them is using the projectile cards. Damn, they can be just brutal. Oh, come on, get at this health real quick. Woo! So now I know where to go to meet him for that part of the puzzle. And there is fall damage, so if he were to fall down here, I would die, and I'd have to reload that checkpoint where I died earlier when I made that save. So you want to make sure, too, you can just go here anytime. You can pick any of those save slots, and you can make a save at any point. And I save quite often in this game, especially if I accomplish a difficult encounter like that. I would save right here. Obviously, I'm not going to because I'm actually further along in this, but I wanted to load an older save to show you guys. You can also jump, so you got all kinds of just a cool action platformer with some horror elements, and it's one that I really wish I would have played years ago. I had never played this game. I never played the Alice Madness Returns. It's been recommended to me several times over the years since this game was launched, and sadly it's become pretty uncommon to find lately. I got the only copy that my local game stores have in this entire area, and I'm really glad that I picked it up this week because I wanted to finally get a chance to play this, and I'm like enjoying that I can play this old computer version before I play the actual sequel that was on the 360. Now originally though, you did have to buy this game new in order to get that game for free because it gave you an online pass. If you guys remember EA back in the day, the 360 days, they had online pass codes that came with some of their games, and so if you bought this game used and the code was redeemed, you'd have to actually pay $10 to get the pass again to get this game for free. Well, several years ago, EA eventually made all their online passes for free, and so you can actually go on and download this for free now. There is one other DLC too that adds some new dresses for Alice to wear, as well as some new weapons and upgrades for $1.99, which I do plan to buy, and we'll see how that will affect the Alice Madness Returns game. But it's a pretty good game. It's got decent graphics, it's got great voice acting, and I've really been enjoying this one, so I'm looking forward to beating it this week here. Alright, hope you guys enjoyed that look at American McGee's Alice. It's really awesome playing that old PC game, but on the 360, which this is backwards compatible on Series X, so it has super fast load times. Graphics get an updated boost to them, and it just looks fantastic for a really old computer game. Once I have that one beat, because it is a fairly difficult game, I will eventually play the Alice Madness Returns sequel, but I wanted to beat that prequel because I never did, so I can help better understand the story in this one. But it's really awesome that it's a free download, so I definitely would recommend going there and downloading it now before you're unable to download it. There was one DLC pack there that I'm going to buy that's $2 that has some extra upgrades and costumes and stuff, which I believe is for the Alice Madness Returns, so not the first game. But still a really wonderful game. It is sadly hard to find this title, so it's like anywhere from $40 to like $60 if you can find it online. So just be warned, it is kind of expensive, but it's one I've wanted for a while, so really good. Binary Domain is an awesome third-person shooter. It's a fairly cheap game. You can get it for like 10 to 20 bucks or so. If you love games like Gears of War, you'll feel right at home with this third-person shooter. Highly recommend it. It's awesome. And then to talk about Alice Madness Returns by getting that free prequel of American McGee's Alice, which is really good. So it's just an interesting take on the Alice in Wonderland story. It's really dark and violent, and you cut people's heads off and blood sprays. It's just really awesome and violent. It's a really cool experience, and really glad to have played both of these. So let me know your guys' thoughts if you played either of these two. Of course, I want to hear about the games you guys have been playing, and if you guys have a recommendation on a game you think I might enjoy, let me know, as I'm always looking for new games to play and experience. I want to thank you guys for watching. Take care. You guys have an amazing day, and Sleepy shall see you guys next time.